Everyone loves a good bourbon list. Well, we got a new one it was made by the Bourbon Note, and we are stealing their idea.
Well, actually, they challenged us.
Okay, we are accepting their challenge, and we'll give you our list. Hi friends, I'm Laura. This is Troy. We're Baker Drinks, and here's our whiskey list.
Yeah, so the Bourbon Note in this past week came out with a pretty cool idea. The challenge lists have been going around WhiskeyTube for a few years now, and they've all been relatively the same, minor tweaks and stuff adjusted for seasons and years and whatnot. This one's completely new. The categories are great. I absolutely love it. And, they're one of those channels that we interact with on a regular basis, and they challenged us to come up with our own version of this list.
And the best thing about this list is none of the categories are related. So it's completely what bottles we think fit into that category without having extra stipulations with it.
Yeah. So the first category that they came up with was an unpopular opinion. So this might be a bottle that you love that the whole entire world hates, or that the entire world loves and you hate. And I feel like we've each captured one of those scenarios.
So what's your bourbon?
So for me, I'm going with the Wild Turkey 101. And most of you are out there going to say that I love this, but I hate it. This bottle tastes like gasoline to me. It's thin. It's like super, I don't know, tastes rancid. I can hide it in a cocktail, but I cannot drink this guy neat. And everybody in WhiskeyTube absolutely loves this bottle.
And that's okay. There's plenty of whiskeys for everybody, and that's one less person that's going to be buying it from you. Okay, so my whiskey, for unpopular opinion, is the Blanton's. I don't know how people can hate on this bottle. I absolutely think it's fantastic. I get it's low proof, it's hard to find.
Everybody wants it.
It's got
that horse on it.
But I think the hype is real. I want it all the time on our shelf. I enjoy drinking it.
It's won every blind we've ever put it in.
Did it get first? I mean, it's done well in every blind. I don't know if it's gotten first necessarily, but maybe second.
Sure.
Which is perfectly fine in a 5-way blind of good whiskeys. So it definitely has won quite a few blinds as well. But this is my unpopular opinion. I think Blanton's is delicious. Okay, so the second category is a whiskey that you changed your mind on. So that could be basically anything. You had one thing in mind when you first tried it or you first got it, and then you changed your mind later on. So my bottle is 1910. Lots of people recommend this for new whiskey lovers. They talk about how extra sweet it is and that kind of thing. When I first got into whiskey, I hated everything that had to do with a double oak or a toasted barrel because I got so much of that char. It tasted like a campfire to me. It was like smoky, and he even tried giving it to me blind because he thought it was like mental, but I could always pick it out. Now, I don't know, maybe my taste buds are dying, but I don't...
You've killed him with whiskey.
But I don't get that flavor profile anymore. Now I'm getting more of that sweetness, and I've changed my mind. I think 1910 or any other toasted bottle is delicious.
Nice. So for me, I went the opposite again. I had a bottle that I absolutely hated.
Oh.
And now I love. So the Whistle Pig, this is the 10-year. It's a store pick. It's just kind of a representation of rye whiskey in general. So when we first started this whiskey journey, the rye whiskeys, I couldn't stand them. They tasted like Crest toothpaste. It was just awful. Laura put it in my glass, and I thought she was poisoning me.
He's not kidding. He really was like, oh, that's so bad.
And then One night, my son was over. Laura had gone to bed. We stayed up late listening to music on YouTube and drinking and getting emotional and doing those things you do when you drink too much. But I forced myself to drink nothing but rye whiskey that night. And when I woke up in the morning, I absolutely love rye whiskey now. I probably like it more than bourbon.
Sometimes you just gotta force yourself to make yourself like it.
So the next category is a good bourbon or whiskey that you wouldn't buy again. And for me, as much as I hate to say it, because this is probably one of my top 2 favorite bottles ever. It's kind of got an emotional significance to me. This was the first bottle that Laura bought that she spent more than $100 on. It was a gift, probably a lot more than $100. This is the Old Carter Bourbon. It's batch 4, so it's an older one. This is just amazing, amazing whiskey. And the reason why I say I wouldn't buy it again is, number one, it's not available in our market.
No.
So we have to order it online and have it shipped to us. So there's an additional charge, $15 to $20 to have it shipped to us. The MSRP on this guy was like $175, but you can't find these on the internet on the secondary market for under probably $275, $300 now. So this slightly more than half a bottle here, I'm probably going to milk this for the next few years just because of the emotional significance that this bottle carries. But I can't replace it.
Yeah, it's good, but it's expensive, and we can get other equally as good bottles.
Yeah.
Okay, so mine, not as good as his bourbon, but it is good. It's just not that good. So mine is the Sweetens Cove Tennessee. This is another one of those bottles that's good, not great. I think it was $70. I can't remember. Beautiful packaging.
It's got the coolest cork I've ever seen.
Yeah, the cork is absolutely awesome. They did a good job with the bottle.
It's a celebrity whiskey. I think Peyton Manning.
Yes, I believe it's Peyton Manning, even though for some reason he didn't put his name on it. But this, I mean, it's not amazing. There's no reason, when there's so many amazing bottles of whiskey at that $70 price range, there's no reason to replace this one.
Exactly.
Ever. It's good, not great, not worth the money. Okay, so this next one, I think I've said it in a video before, but if you hadn't seen it, the category is an allocated replacement. And I struggled with this one because I really enjoy our allocated bottles, and I find it hard to replace them. I think they taste good. I think there's a reason they're allocated, and it's hard. I have to steal ideas from people because I don't know that I would have come up with these on my own, because I don't normally try other whiskeys with other whiskeys. It just doesn't, I'm not like, oh, I remember that one tasted exactly like this. Let me try it with it. So, mine is Stag Junior. I know, it's crazy. There are, I do have a replacement for this bottle. So it is a pick, so it's a single barrel, but there are other single barrels that are similar to it. Mm-hmm. This is Nashville Barrel. They do source their whiskeys, so I don't necessarily know where this one came from, and it's only 5 years old, but it is dark, it is flavorful, and we did it in a blind because we heard it was similar to the Stag Junior, and it was extremely similar.
Yes.
While we still picked the Stag in the blind, this one held up. It was a whole lot easier to come by than
half the price.
And half the price. Well, that's because Stag Junior is not MSRP in our area.
Yeah.
So, I think it was like $100, maybe $80.
Yeah, you probably paid like $80 for that, and the Stag Juniors in our area are usually around $150 to $200.
Or more.
Or more. I mean, they're
or
definitely more. But if I see them around $150 to $200, I might pull the trigger. We haven't bought one in a while, though.
Nope. But there's my replacement. I know, crazy. Nashville Barrel. Check them out.
Yeah. So for me, I've got this little sample right here.
What's that?
So at one of our local bars, they will sell pours to go. And we bought a pour of this particular bottle. It was $30 for the pour, 2 ounces. It was a midwinter night's dram. I've never seen it in the wild here in Washington. I'm sure it exists. Other people have found it. But for $30 for this pour, or, probably a couple hundred for the whole bottle, we found this guy right here. This is Saints Alley the Nobleman. This is a collaboration between...
Iron Root. Yep,
yeah.
MGP.
So it's Texas, it's MGP and Iron Root. It's also finished in Tokai, but we literally took this sample and blinded it against this bottle, and the taste was so similar that for $79 at Total Wine, sitting on the shelf collecting dust, this bottle was identical to the Midwinter Night Dram.
Maybe not identical, because we also both picked it as the winner in the blind, but very
Splitting
similar.
hairs, though.
Yeah, they were very similar.
This is a viable replacement all day long. If you don't have this bottle, what are you doing with your life?
Harsh. Okay, what's next?
So this next category is kind of cool because it's a best and a worst. It's best and worst stats versus price. And so when I think stats, I think of proof, price, age, availability, and how good is that distillate inside that bottle compared to those things. Okay, so for my worst, you've probably all seen this guy. This is the Hardin's Creek James B. Beam. Now this is a good whiskey, and I like what Hardin's Creek or Jim Beam did with the 2022 versions of this. They had a 2-year-old whiskey and a 15-year-old whiskey, and the point of releasing those the way they did was to show that age doesn't necessarily mean quality, because this is a fantastic pour. And then you get to contrast the Jim Beam distillate at 2 years in like a heat cycled warehouse or whatever, honey barrel picks.
I think they rotated the barrels so that it had more contact with the barrels and
sure,
that kind of thing.
So they did a lot of things to impart flavor into this 2-year whiskey, and then they showed you a 15-year. The problem that everybody has with this bottle is it's like $80 for a 2-year whiskey. And I agree, it's totally not worth that price, stats wise.
Yeah, I think it's the best 2-year whiskey I've ever had, but it's $80.
Exactly. It's not something I'll ever buy a replacement of. We have it in, the lineup on our shelf in the Speakeasy, in the Hardin's Creek lineup. And, we'll probably continue to buy their products because they're all really, really good so far. But this guy is my worst for stats versus price.
Well, what's your best?
I want to see your worst first.
Okay. Well, I don't know that I have quite the story that you do, but mine is Blue Run Reflection 1 bourbon whiskey. So, beautiful bottle. You got the butterfly. Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. So that means...
You got Jim Rutledge attached to the product. There's a lot of things going for that.
And it's good, just like his, but it's not cheap. I think it's around $80 as well.
You're probably paying closer to $100 plus shipping.
Well, yeah, it's not in our area. We're definitely paying that extra $20 for shipping. But it is... it's again a young whiskey that they're charging a crazy amount for.
It's like 4 years old, right?
Yeah, they haven't said exactly the age of it. It's Kentucky straight bourbon, so we know it has to be at least 4 years if they don't put an age statement on here, and there is no age statement. I looked it up, and my research on the internet said that they distilled it in it said the dates. I don't remember the dates, but it said when it was distilled and when it was bottled, and it had to have been just over 4 years but based on the years, it was only 4. I don't know what months they were in, so maybe 4 years and a month or something.
Yeah, a few more years, it might be amazing.
But it's good.
It's good.
It's also proof. I know a lot of people care about proof. It's only 95 proof, so you're not getting some stat that you would want for a high price. There's no proof with it. There's no age with it. It tastes good. Does it taste great? No. It just looks nice because it has got a butterfly on the bottle.
Yeah, so $100 for a 4+ year old 95 proof bourbon. I see why you put that on your list.
Yeah, the stats just aren't there.
Yeah. So now for me on the best, I got a bottle that's near and dear to everybody's heart here. I've got the Elijah Craig barrel proof. It doesn't matter which one. This one happens to be the A121, but consistent quality. It's high proof. It's available. I can still probably go buy this exact bottle in the state of Oregon.
You may have to look. They've been dwindling. The 21s.
The 21s maybe.
But you could definitely find 22s and the 23s.
I could go buy an ECBP any day of the week in Oregon.
Yeah.
And not have difficulty finding it. But these are coming in at like $75, $80. And year over year over year over year, the quality is there. The proof is there. The age is there. Even though the latest batch is no longer 12 years age stated, it's 11 and a half. Just for that price, you're not going to find, you'll struggle to find something with better stats. And this guy is just solid, solid, solid. It's a buy all day.
Now, I don't think anyone's going to be too surprised that I'm going to pick this. But I think for the stats versus price, you can't go wrong with Jack Daniel's single barrel proof. This particular one is 133.5 proof. Whew, that's a hot one.
Yeah.
The flavor, fantastic. The price with it, equally as good. $65 around us. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what can you go, and
it wouldn't be a Baker Drinks list without a Jack Daniel's on it.
Nope. My favorite.
It was the first one she picked out on this list.
It was the easiest one to pick on the list.
Anyways, that's our list. Thanks, Bourbon Note, for challenging us. This was a lot of fun. We put a lot of thought into it. Hopefully this lives up to your expectations. If not, sorry.
And if anyone else has any list ideas, we enjoy making lists. We think they're kind of fun. So throw them out there. Give us some ideas. We'd gladly do it. And thanks for watching.
Yeah, put your list in our comments. We'd love to hear what you say.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Have a great day. I just want to remind you guys that I will be doing a giveaway once I hit 1,000 subscribers on my live stream. We will be giving away a Henry McKenna 10, an Eagle Rare, and a Blanton's. I just need you to subscribe, share my videos, leave comments, anything you can, and then join on the live stream once we hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for watching. Cheers.